Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're welcoming back Stefan Godot of Godot Games. Stefan is a designer, a publisher, and a coach in this industry. His latest title, UK Force Duels, is currently available on GameFound. Stefan, welcome back, my friend. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, James. I'm loving your intro so much. I'm always happy to hear you, with your good vibes and your passion.
You just gotta amp it up, right?
Yeah. Thanks for having me again.
It is fantastic having you back here. I really do appreciate it. It's good to catch up and hear what you're working on. Again, we're gonna get into UK Force in a second because again, it looks super cool. And I was saying just before it on air, just the artwork pulled me right in, and I'm sure this is the response you get at all the conventions. I can see all the pictures and so forth from the conventions that you've done as well. But for those who don't know who you are, Stefan, can you please give us a brief intro to kind of who you are, what Godot Games is all about?
Yes, sure. Yeah, so I'm Stefan Godot. I'm the company or the guy behind Godot Games. I have two partners, and we're doing this since 7 years now, so we're getting old. And yeah, we're doing since 7 years. We are building board games, and we're bringing them all to crowdfunding because this is our company's way. And yeah, next to Godot Games, I have my another company, Blueprints, and I am helping other small publishers for crowdfunding. So I'm helping them to create the everything they need, social media, the crowdfunding experience, the advertisement, everything what you need to prepare, to be good prepared, for a good start and for a good launch and for a good campaign in the end. Yeah.
Certainly, I would say just to that latter part, from my experience, I've interviewed several people in this podcast who you've worked with, and those campaigns are always campaigns that are funding. As we both know, this industry is very formulaic. You get to a point where the campaign and how everything's set up, it is very formulaic, right? If you follow the process, you should be able to see some success. And there's been many on this podcast that have done that. And it's always interesting when I'll look at the bottom and I'll see your name there as an advisor. I'm like, oh, yet another campaign this guy's involved with. This is crazy. Like, I think you were was it Arc Nova recently you were involved with it in some way?
Yeah, this was my last customer last year, and this became the biggest German crowdfunding campaign ever in the board game industry so far. So, with 3.5 million euros, it was it was a really great campaign for us, of course, and for my company too. And it was really a big pleasure and lots of fun to create this stuff because I really love Arc Nova.
Yeah.
And the guy behind Arc Nova, Matthias, is also a really nice guy, and it was a really good time working with him. Yeah.
It was cool when I was talking with him because, I was saying, like, why did you decide to kind of go on your own this time? And he was talking that, because it was the 3D models and things like this, it was time. And I said, well, how did you approach it? And he's like, you know what? I reached out to someone that knows a lot more about this kind of stuff than I do. And, I was good at design. I was willing to learn, but I really needed somebody to kind of guide me through it. And then he started name dropping you. I'm like, what? You were working with Stefan? No kidding. That's crazy. Yeah, congrats. That is absolutely huge. And I know it probably sucked up a lot of your time,
yes.
Which is, it gets tough to kind of spread yourself, I guess, amongst all these different projects. But with the partners you talk to, now I know in UK Forest Duel, I see two other Godots in there. So is the company like brothers, or how's your company structured?
People always think about this because we are all Godots, but to be honest, this is just a name for social media for us. So,
okay.
But we all know us from school time, so we are really old friends. Yeah.
Okay.
So I know Andreas since I'm 10 years old.
Yeah.
And Marco, I don't know, maybe 15 or something like this. So it's been a while. And yeah, we think it's good for social media that the people know who's who, you know. And
Mhm.
if you are seeing the name Godot, you always know that this is combined with the company, with the Godot games. Um, yeah, so for us it made sense to use these names, and also of course it's a little bit privacy for us, so that we don't need to use our real names.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotcha. And then with the UK Forest duel, where did this idea come from? Like where, like how did this kind of all come about?
Yeah, this is the best story of my life or of my board game life because it's from my daughter. So my daughter is 9 years old, and every time we are in vacation, we need to play something. You know,
Yeah.
she's boring. We are standing and waiting for our ice cream or something, and she wants to do something. And we have some small games. And last year she learned a new game at her school, and it's called, maybe I'm not sure if this is a worldwide phenomenon, maybe only in Germany, I don't know, but it's called 007, so a James Bond game.
Yeah,
Okay.
007, yep.
Okay, and the kids are standing next to each other, and they're clapping their hands together, and they're saying 007, and then they make one of three poses. They can block, they can attack, or they can load the weapon. Okay, and yeah, they are loading the weapons, and then you have one ammo, and you're doing this again. And if that was in some situation, you will shoot, and the other one will load. Then you win the game. You
Mm.
can load more ammo, of course, but if the other one shoots in this second, you are out of the game. So, and this is a really interesting game, and we played this thousands of times last year. And one vacation, I had the idea that this is a really cool, small idea which could become a board game. So, and I thought about it, and yeah, and then then the rest. Was pretty easy. So we were looking for a good design. So we found a really good artist in Poland, and David Wieczek is his name, and he has some really unique cup style, old cartoon Mickey Mouse style cartoon arts, and we were so in love. And yeah, and he made some great characters for us. Some a little bit inspired by a little bit of maybe a little bit of Zelda. You know, there's a little. There's one character which looks a little bit like the Majora's Mask.
Hmm.
There's another character looks a little bit like the character from Guardians of the Galaxy. You know. So
Hmm.
we have some references here, and yeah, we are really happy with the result. And yeah,
Oh, the artwork is fantastic. I'm just showing it on screen here while you're chatting. Um, yeah, I mean, that is probably what pulled me into this the most when I was going through the different pages on GameFound, and I saw this one, and it just sucked me right in. I was like, "Ooh, what is this? This looks super cool." And so is it kind of, and I don't want to oversimplify, but when you talk about the 007 game, that's almost like a rock paper
yeah.
scissors ish
Yeah,
kind of a game, right?
exactly. Yeah, but you need resources. You know, in 007 you need the ammo, but in our game you need stones for your slingshot, of
Yeah.
course. And in our game, of course, we have some more tweaks here. So we have some blockades, and so we can work with some cards to grow with our skills. So maybe we can hold more than one stone, or we can get more than one energy. You know, or we can get better cards. If I win my first duel, we're
Hmm.
always playing best of three. And if I'm winning the first best of three, I will get two upgrade cards, and I can get one into my deck, and the other one goes to the loser. So we are both advance our decks a little bit, and then we are going to the next enemy or to the next round, of course. And also some other tweaks. You know, it's a small deck builder because you will get some new cards from
Hmm.
it from time to time. But the really big twist in this game is that your deck is empty at some point, right? Because every round you would draw one card. There are only 10 cards in the deck, and you have 5 at the start, so it's pretty quick. And you must refill your deck on your own with a card, you know? So there's one card, and this card is the factor, so that you bring your discard pile back into the deck together with this card, of course, because you need to bring your cards back at some point. And this is really good about mind games, because you must think, when will your enemy will bring his cards back? You know,
Hmm.
so is it a good moment where I can attack him, because he will not block in this situation, of course. So this is really game with lots of mind games and lots of deduction, but not social. So this is really not about lying. It's more about, if you can read your enemy, then you can win the game. Yeah.
Interesting. For those who don't know, your team did Among Cultists, right? Which is
Yeah.
probably one of the most beefy social deduction games out there that I know. Like it's really good. I got it on my shelf right over there.
Thanks a
And
lot.
yeah, so it's cool to kind of have that deduction element. What also pulled me in on this was just a sheer number of players, right? So you've
Hmm.
got these player boards. I think it was like 8 boards that comes
Yeah.
with the game.
Hmm.
And the fact that you can even double these up. So if you want to, say you buy 2 games, you can go even more. You can go up to 16 players if you want, right?
Yeah,
Like,
to be honest, there's no limit in the end. You could also play this with 32, and it doesn't grow in time because everyone playing next to each other, you know. So the
mhm.
time is always the same in the end. But I think 16 is already crazy. So if you have 7 friends and you can play an 8-player tournament, you will have a blast. But I think 16 is something for conventions, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the natural kind of assumption might be like with a tournament based game like this, is there any aspirations towards doing it in a digital format? So eventually moving
Mhm.
towards like an app or BGA, things like that. Are you guys working on that as well, or?
To be honest, not at the moment. Lots of my friends and no, guys I'm knowing from the industry doing lots of board game arena stuff, and I'm interested in doing things here, but I'm not super. So far, I don't have the time yet, to be honest. But I'm interested to be looking into this direction. Yeah.
And then with the and I was showing on screen here while we're chatting as well, like a lot of these images where it shows it at like convention. Where was this convention? Where did you guys show it? Was it at Essen last year or where?
Yeah, exactly. We always trying to, we are every year we are at SNP. We are
Yeah.
in Germany, so it makes sense for us to be there, of course. We have some other smaller conventions here, but to be honest, for having a booth, it's not worth the effort. So we're really focusing on this one convention per year, and we always try to show our next game, which will be available soon after. So this was the Essen Spiel last year, and we played, I think, around about 15 games because you can learn the game so quick in maybe in 60 to 90 seconds,
Yeah.
and the people can instantly play this game, and they play this best of three in 10 minutes. And then they are happy, and then they had a good moment, and then they go and yeah, next year they can buy it, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a challenge at these conventions as well, right? Like we ran into this at Eschen Spiel. Was it 2 years ago? I think is when I saw you there.
yeah.
When people are coming to the booth, we had to really change up our strategy and say,
Hmm.
okay, how do we do this in a way we can get the maximum number of people yet still have them have kind of a taste of the game. And so
Yeah.
what we end up doing is getting rid of the chairs because people sometimes come to your booth just to rest their legs because they're tired from walking through this
Hmm.
massive convention. And so we got rid of all the chairs, and they come up and say, "Hey, we'll show you. You can do like one little, kind of, we'll do one quick round, so you can get a kind of a flavor for it. But then you got to kind of be on your way so we can get to the next people, right? So
Yeah.
when I see a game like this, where you say that in 5 minutes you can teach somebody really quickly, and in 10 minutes they get through a game, you can crank through a lot of people, right? In this
Yeah.
in this play test. For those out there who are looking at getting into this industry themselves, what are some of the things that you would offer at the show to, like, how do you link the people back to then the campaign to get that fall through so that they're actually going to fall through on a pledge or hitting a notify me button or things like that? Like, is there a way that you integrate that into these shows?
Just a little bit. So, some years ago, we all the companies tried to get email addresses, from the people. They had boxes, and you should put your email address in, and then you will get a promo card or something like this. These are old methods. These days, we don't do this. So, we really have a good time at the table, and if we see that the people have fun, and if we see, okay, this is the perfect guy for this game, maybe we have a QR code, and we show them, and we can, hey, if you become a follower now, you can join the campaign in 2 months, and if you are a follower in the campaign, you will get a free gift,
Mm,
which is a really nice feature from Game Founder, so that you can add this, and yeah, people have something, if they become a follower, so it makes sense. On I don't want to blame Kickstarter, but if you're on Kickstarter and you're a follower, you will not get anything for being a follower.
yeah.
So it makes sense to become a follower before the campaign launches, because in Yokai Forest, the people will get free foil cards for the upgrade cards, and they are worth €8. So it makes sense
Mm,
to be a follower, because otherwise you can buy them. You don't need to, of course, but if you want them, it makes sense to get them free, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So this is enough. But we are showing them the QR code, but only if we see that the people have fun. If we see, okay, this is not the right person for this game, it's also fine for us, and they can go and again search for another game. We really are more happy with strong followers and not with just every follower we find, Yeah.
Yeah, some of the the campaigns I've run in the past, I find the harder you have to work to get someone to pledge behind your game, the more trouble that backer is usually going to be
Mhm.
later on down the road.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm okay with, they'll talk sometimes pricing and things like that. People say, well, you should be trying to get the price down. It's like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the people that are in,
Mhm.
right? That are bought into this concept. And I'm okay if I have less backers, but the ones I have are higher quality. That are with me for for this journey, because it takes a long time to get a game ready. You're often delivering a year later after the campaign's done, and the random people coming in that maybe don't know about Kickstarter, or don't really understand it, or you really had to work to try to get them in. Those are the first ones that are going to be upset if the game's not shipping like 3 months later, right? So you got to kind of
Yeah.
make sure you get the quality ones. I'm not sure I'm fully there yet on the pre-sign up pages. I know a lot of marketing companies really push for that, the pre-sign up pages. What's
Mhm.
your opinion on that? Are you guys doing pre-sign up pages at all, or landing pages, things like this?
Yeah, so the crowdfunding landing page is really important
Mm,
for the crowdfunding experience because I can give you an example. Um, in our last year for our last game, Voxpor, we collected 11,000 followers.
mm,
So, and the conversion rate on GameFound is something between 20 to 40%. So you already know if the product is looking good and the price is fair enough for crowdfunding experience, then you will get the 20 to 40%. So it makes sense to collect every follower which is possible, of course,
yeah.
because it will raise your campaign in the end. And it's the same for Ark Nova last year. We collected more than 50,000 followers because it's Ark Nova and because we spend lots of money in good advertisement stuff. And it's the same. So we had more than 12,000 followers, which is not 40%, but it's a lot. So it's a big mass of people, and this is only possible because we can grab those people inside the updates. We will doing an update on GameFound every day, every second day, and all those 50,000 people will get this update. They will get an email, and they will, and 20% of them will
Mm,
open the email. And in every update, you can earn money. And so it makes sense to have the followers on GameFound because Kickstarter they don't get the updates if you're a follower. It doesn't make sense. But
yeah.
on GameFound, it's a good way. So it's really that you can contact the people, right? And you have the option. So you want as much followers as possible. So yeah.
So when you're saying you do a landing page, but your landing page is in GameFound, it's not like separate from the
Yeah.
platform.
We also tested separated landing pages with Among Cultists 2 or 3 years ago.
Hmm.
This was also interesting. There was in this time there was this $1
Yep.
trick, and of the process companies tried to do this to do. We also tried it. It worked, but we don't felt that it was so super awesome. It was fine, but it felt pretty strange that the people already paid $1, and now they are a better follower because now the conversion is not 20%, now it's 40% because they are
Yeah.
already engaged. This is lots of strategy about social media stuff, etc. But we don't do this anymore. We tested this once and we were not super satisfied with the outcome, and we will be staying with the landing page on the crowdfunding platform because it makes sense because the people should stay there.
Hmm.
The same link will be the live campaign later, and so this is a good connection in the end, I think.
I love this. This is the kind of meat I love to jump into. So as you know, I'm predominantly Kickstarter versus GameFound, and
Hmm.
I have yet to be convinced to go back. I tried it once, and we pulled a campaign. Um, the I know like a lot of these marketing companies are really pushing, hey, you got to have
Yeah.
a landing page, but they're not talking GameFound landing page. They're talking like a separate landing page outside of the platform. And I had done that all in one campaign, but what I found was the cost per acquisition was monumentally larger because I was already paying to get the lead, but then I'm bouncing them over to a sign up page. Then on that page, they're reading through, and then you're getting, maybe 10% of those people actually signing up. yes, stickier play or stickier follow, and a follow that's probably a higher quality. But what I was finding was the cost to get those people. Why I was further ahead just to leave them within meta and get the lowest possible cost in meta that I could, and just cast a wider net, right? So try to get
Mhm.
way more people. And
Yeah.
yes, maybe my conversion is going to be a lot lower, but then also my cost per acquisition is significantly lower too. So the math on those two sides, I end up just now in my campaigns, I just meta straight to
Yeah.
give me your email sign up so I can follow up and e-blast you after the campaign's done, and then
Hmm.
I put a reminder to say, hey, do me a favor, go over to the notify me page and click notify me so that we can measure that, because I know Kickstarter will remind them as well.
Yeah.
The case for moving to GameFound, because I know you used to be on Kickstarter, right? And now
Hmm.
you're, I assume, exclusively now GameFound. What was it that finally kind of moved you over? Because I know heavier games like Arc Nova do very well on the GameFound platform.
Yeah.
A game like Yokai, Force Duel, one could argue that may do even better on Kickstarter because of the audiences there. The decision to stick with GameFound, walk me through that, or what was kind of the thing that really
Hmm.
made you kind of stick over there?
Yeah, I love Kickstarter. I can't say anything super bad against them because this was the start of my career, and
Yeah,
I really love the crowdfunding experience, and it was my beginning, But to be honest, it's good that GameFound is there, and GameFound is a really good opponent from Kickstarter because they're doing lots of things good, and they have a really good feeling for marketing.
hmm,
So they are doing way lots of small things, and it's all so smart. And Kickstarter, for so many years they did nothing. There's a
yeah,
spot on the landing page, and if you're going live with your campaign, you're making 200,000 on your first day, and on the landing page on Kickstarter is a campaign with 10 backers and 50 euros, and I don't understand why this is possible. On Board Geek you must pay 2,000 euros for a half day banner. And on Kickstarter, they are doing this randomly. And on
yeah,
GameFound, if you're good and the algorithm sees that you are good, you will be pushed. And you are on the landing page, and there's a feature spot that you are live, and thousands of people just going into your campaign because they're seeing you on the landing page. And this is just one of the small peaks, which are way better on GameFound. Kickstarter is already copying lots of things from GameFound,
yeah,
so they see that they lose lots of companies and lots of the big players, and I'm sure they try their best, but everything what they're doing at the moment is still not enough. So they're also building a pledge manager, but or they're also doing stretch pay, but only for 3 months or something like this. Why
yeah,
why 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 can I as a company not choose on my own that I want, maybe I have so much money to get from the people, let them pay this in six steps and not in 3 steps. It doesn't make sense to reduce something like this. And at the moment, everything advertisement wise and social media wise, everything, and also from the support, everything is on GameFound side at the moment. And I'm sure the Kickstarter has the potential to grow again and to have a comeback. But at the moment, it's not there, unfortunately.
yeah. The one thing I would say is that this is why competition is good
Yeah.
in any industry, right? Because back to your point, Kickstarter did nothing for years, and then a competitor arrives that starts actually gaining traction and taking some of
Hmm.
their market share, and then lo and behold, they start changing, right, and trying to
Yeah.
rapidly improve their platform. I think they're infinitely better now than they were even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
In some of the changes that I've taken advantage of more recently. Um, but it is still kind of interesting to hear the other side with GameFound. Is there Could it be argued that um, this feature of, hey, if people are talking about your game, you make it onto the landing page, but doesn't that automatically then favor all the large publishers, and the small little guys who are trying to get off the ground may never make that main landing page because they don't have the same audience that you would say Godot Games is going to generate with the number of backers that you've had?
Yeah, we also launched with other way bigger players than us, and we were still on the landing page.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have a good feeling for for what it makes sense where you should be, And I also saw some smaller campaigns on the landing page. I think they have a good algorithm, so lots of the game font page is AI, so controlled. So there's a team behind, of course, but lots of the visibility is algorithm and it's AI. And I have a feeling that it works better as on Kickstarter. So Kickstarter has also something like algorithm, of course,
Sure.
but you need comments there. And to be honest, if I have a good big community, yeah, okay, wow. So I'm always visible,
Hmm.
But if I'm a new player, I must hope for a random spot. So
Yeah.
this doesn't make sense. And if you're starting on Kickstarter with a new campaign, you're starting with 0 followers, which is not super great. And if you're starting on GameFound, you will instantly get a spot on the starting page, and you have a chance to on your first day with your first campaign that 3,000 or more people can see your campaign, and maybe the first 100 or 200 people will become followers, and without doing so much, just having a landing page. So this is really lots. Yeah, there's still a big gap between those
What about the
platforms.
organic kind of finding page? So what I've
Hmm.
classically heard about Kickstarter is that just the sheer size, and I still think their audience is probably still double what GameFound's is, um, and that gap I'm sure is closing quickly. But there's this belief that you have, for every four or every six backers you bring in, Kickstarter is going to bring another four. You're going to just have people
Hmm.
organically finding you. Where I don't hear the same thing about GameFound, and quite frankly, my personal experience when we did a small game.
Hmm.
Granted, it was a few years ago now. It went to zero with a bullet, and after the audience we brought in, there was nothing organic that came in past what we had brought in ourselves.
Yeah.
Canceled the campaign, launched on Kickstarter. Again, it's a small card game, and funded in a day there. So
Hmm.
I'm wondering if, like, what have they done to change to try to help some of these smaller games and some of these smaller players who maybe don't have the large marketing budgets that are looking for some of this organic discovery. Have you noticed any tools they have for that?
So of course they are using the same tools like Kickstarter. They have a newsletter, of course. They have
Yeah.
social media, and they're using this. But they have two more options. They have AdFound. So with AdFound, you can start advertisement for Meta, but with a GameFound account. So you can do it on your own. So you can upload your pictures, your text, and the advertisement will be sent from the GameFound account to Meta, which is a pretty good way with a really most of the time it's a better ROAS than if you do it
Mm,
on your own.
that's cool.
And another option they offer, but I think this is only an offer if you are maybe a little bit more, little bit more a bigger player maybe, that they are doing service per hand, so that they prepare ads for you. And yeah, and they send the ads to Meta, etc. So they do this every day, step by step, creating stuff and so on. But of course, you must pay something for this. So this is
Sure.
10% of the money you will get from this ads. So you must always look about if this is something which is fine for you, of course. But those are two options which are not existing on Kickstarter so far as I
Mm.
know. So and we tested both of them, and both of them are working pretty good. We are really happy with the results, and we are working since last year only with those features. We nearly don't do advertisement on our own with Godot games, so we are just using the Godot, the game found at the moment
Mm.
since last year.
And then have they fixed? I know one of the annoyances they had in the past was um, you'd have like your pre-launch page, but then you'd have to go and recreate it again for the actual launch page, and then for the pledge manager, you'd have to go and recreate everything again. Like there was no kind of porting over. Has that ever been rectified, or
No, it's the same. So you must upload it again and again. Maybe
that's
it
so
doesn't make
annoying?
so much sense, but in
Yeah,
the end you have way more options as on Kickstarter. So
yeah,
so in the end you can do you have a social media picture. You have an avatar, and you have a welcome email text. You can prepare everything on your own. There's lots of options, but in the end I think it's better to have these options because in the end you can do everything how you like it. So
yeah.
um, it's a little bit more work, but I think it works out in the end. If you're doing this with love and with passion, and the people can see, that you really put all the fire into it, I think it's worth it in the end.
I hope they come up with a feature of like a one-click carryover. It would
Yeah,
be fantastic. Like I look at we use Hive Pledge Manager
yeah.
and Hive Interactive, and that's probably one of the best features they have is you build everything once
Hmm.
as a company, and then each time you're doing the Pledge Manager is like literally a one-click carryover. I can pull
Hmm.
over prior assets like with a click of a button.
Okay.
So it's not like you're always starting from scratch every time. And I remember when I did the Game Found last time, they had that. I'm not saying no to Game Found. I could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
convinced. We'll see when we come with Cities of Venus Civil War next year,
Hmm.
or this year, later this year. We haven't decided if it's Game Found or Kickstarter yet, but you've got me thinking. You've got me thinking, man. Like clearly, there's some features here that I wasn't aware of that you've opened my eyes to. What are you
One
guys
copy,
working on?
one copy button is missing, right? Just one copy button. Copy this section to
Yeah,
this part. This would be enough.
carryover, and I'm
Yeah,
in. One click
yeah,
carryover button would be amazing.
yeah.
What are you guys
Hmm.
working on next? What's next coming down the pipe for you guys after this campaign wraps up?
Yeah, we have a little change since last year. So last year we had lots of time
Yeah,
for some gaming projects, and I completed 7 games. So it was a really game year full of ideas in my head. So this year we will release 3 games, and yeah, one of them is it's Yokai Forest Duel, which is on GameFound right now, and we have 2 small party games which will be released at the Essen Spiel this year. So we can produce them together, which is nice. So everything will be ready when the convention starts. And in January, this month, we also have a big reveal, maybe on GameFound, we will see. I don't know, for our next big project, which is coming next year. But I don't can give you the name yet. But we can see it in some days. And we also have 2 other games ready for the next year. So we have really
wow.
some, but to be honest, most of them are small. We have one big game, with the reveal, but the other ones are smaller games. But we are really happy with because it's a different direction at the moment, and we are really happy with easier games. You can learn them in some minutes,
Yeah,
and you can enjoy them for maybe 30 minutes, and then it's fine. Sometimes it's also nice because so many games where you need to learn so much rules, and every time you must look into the rules and what are the things, and yeah, sometimes it's also nice to have some smaller things between.
yeah. These are all your designs, or are they people you've signed,
Yeah,
or
yeah, we're still 100% doing our own stuff.
where do you find the
Some
time? Like it
yeah,
is.
I also don't know, to be honest. My wife is always so angry and tries to kill me because I have so many ideas and I want to do
Yeah,
everything at once. But every idea in my head, if it's good or not, I will write it down, and sometimes they are there for some years, and then I had those idea.
yeah,
This is perfect for this game, and then I can combine this, and it's pretty easy then. And I'm doing this since 7 years now. I have so much ideas. Laying in my shelf here, and yeah, from time to time, yeah, they're coming out, and now it's last year was a really creative year for us, and yeah, and the outcome are the next 2 years where we have 7 releases. So, and this is
wow.
really new for us. So, but we are really excited. We are super happy about it, and we have from the artist from Yoga Forest Duel, he's also doing 4 other games for us.
Oh
So.
wow.
And I can tell you the artwork will be so amazing from them. So we have some really, really great games coming in the next year. Yeah, and this year.
Any plan like long term to almost take like the Stonemeyer path and move away from the game like the
Crowdfunding, yeah.
crowdfunding platforms and do your own almost self-hosted crowdfunding at all now that your audience is getting so large or
To be honest, I wish that this would possible, of course, but I'm not sure if it's possible. With Size, they had so big, such a big success. I think it was,
wingspan? Yeah,
yeah, and Wingspan, of course, and all the other games later. I'm so happy. I'm so waiting for the not for the new game for Vintage, and yeah, I mean, we must see how the new games running in the end. These are retail games, so they are not coming to crowdfunding. So most of those smaller games will not going to crowdfunding. They will go directly into retail,
yeah,
and maybe if you have good selling numbers, maybe. But we must see, you know. I love crowdfunding, so I'm not sure if I could ever quit this, to be honest. I'm not, I really don't know why Jamie stopped this, because I also think that he really likes crowdfunding.
I
Yeah.
think he does too. I also believe that crowdfunding will always help you find audiences that maybe don't know about you or don't have access, right? So
Mm.
most people would say, well, gosh, you'd had like, who doesn't know Stonemaier? Everyone knows Stonemaier.
Yeah.
But for sure, there's people out there that don't. They might see Wingspan on a shelf, but they don't necessarily know the company. And they don't necessarily know kind of the lore behind that and the whole history of Jamie, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder if you ever did do something on like a Kickstarter or GameFound, if there would be an incremental audience there or not. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. Who's to say? But I think that's a dream, right? One of us to get that smash hit and then just use that to kind of like launch the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm in. So, yeah.
Well, for those who want to check this out, Yokai Forest Duel, it looks super cool. And hearing the story of you and your daughter is actually makes me want to actually play with my kids.
Try it.
Yeah, I definitely will. It is already funded. It's on GameFound. I will put a link in the show notes for people that want to check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on the landing page of GameFound, but follow the link, check it out, and if it's something you find interesting, maybe throw a pledge towards Godot Games. Stefan, my friend, it's been great, and until we have you back on again for the next one, my friend.
It was an honor. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. Take care. Cheers. This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply subscribe to our YouTube channel, Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.